Hi, and welcome to whatever this channel's about. So, something that's been on my mind is there's a saying, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. There's also a saying, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. The question is, which one's right? Well, I feel that is a bad question. And actually, where I know these two sayings from is Star Trek. And Spock actually says both lines. In one of the original movies, he sacrifices himself, saying the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And then I think in the reboot series, Captain Kirk tries to sacrifice himself, and Spock finds a different solution, saying the line, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. But again, I feel that both sayings are wrong, and they're both right. Something I've been thinking about is I like to say the needs of utility outweigh the needs of the non-utility or whatever. So the people who utilize something the most should have priority over people who do not utilize whatever the thing is. And I have a story, which I know I've told this story once before, a couple of years ago, but it's a new year, and I have no problem retelling stories. And in fact, even I thought this video I already made already. Turns out I hadn't made this video yet, because I noticed my notes, it's still in there. So the story is back a long time ago at some company I was working for. They wanted to remodel the area that we worked in. And they specifically made a request saying you had three different designs, A, B, or C. And the main job was to monitor a whole bunch of different systems on a bunch of different screens. And the setup A was the easiest system for a person to sit there and monitor everything and even pay attention to the outside surroundings, like if customers come up, without any issue. And then, I don't remember what Model B was, it was meh, it was average. And then Model C was just horrible. It actually required two people to work at the same time to be able to keep an eye on everything. And even then, you couldn't even pay attention like what was behind you. You had a whole blind spot. It was just a cluster, and usually there'd be one person working at a time, so it was totally non-workable. I mean, it technically was workable. It's just really difficult for the people who are working 24/7 in this room to just handle everything. And management came and said, "Hey, which choice?" And universally, everyone, the 28 of us who were possibly working in this space, said choice A because it just made the most sense. It was the best for what we needed. And then management came and said, well, we're going to do choice C. So they totally disregarded what the workers needed. But the whole reason they did it is about maybe once, if that, a week, upper management would come downstairs and take a look around for like 5 minutes to make sure the workers are working, and then go back upstairs. And because C had this blind spot that they could approach on, that was the option they liked. And that's what they went with. Now, I feel it's a huge mistake because, again, it had problems, and we stated what the problems were, but management didn't care. It was something that they believed helped them the best, even though the people who were utilizing the space were hindered by it. So that's my little story about this. May still gripe 20 some years later, or longer than that, but that's what it feels like. The people who are utilizing something should have, again, priority over people who do not utilize it. Now, I can see for most cases, it's pretty cut and dry. You can say who is or is not utilizing an area. Sometimes, though, there's fudge space. Like, do employees use a company for money more than investors use the company for money? Who gets priority? There are subjective cases, and I can see that's where you have issues rise. But if you actually drill down to specifics, like the actual day-to-day workings, then the employee should get priority. If you're talking about the actual direction of the company overall, then I can see the investors having priority. It all depends on your perspective. And of course, since everyone's got different perspectives, disagreements will occur, yada, yada. So even this isn't the best solution, but it's still better than saying the needs of the many or the needs of the few outweigh the other. That was my whole point. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Thanks.